I don't know what to do with myself. We're back in the studio, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
For a little bit amount of time, but we're back and we got a lot to talk about. Mainly what happened on the tour, because a lot of cool things have happened. Also Hurricane Helen, what we think's happening, all the things. There's a lot to talk about. We'll talk about that more. All Self-Evident Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Self-Evident Podcast. My name is Masik Campos, and I'm here to help you understand. I don't know. But anyways, if you haven't been on our website yet, go to theselfevidenttruth.com. You guys can find out more information about what we're doing, why we're doing it, and who we are, and who we do what we do. And then also why we're on tour, why we're doing all the tours that we do, what we talk about, why we talk about it, because it's important to talk about it. Also, we want you to understand that we have a cool podcast. It's here. And there's Mike.
I was going to say, by the way, I'm Mike.
I was getting there.
Are we on Facebook and everything? Are we running
Yeah, it just, for some reason, because this is live, right?
Yeah.
For some reason, it locked mine, because I put it on mine too.
Oh, it always does that, doesn't it?
But it only does it when you pre-record and do it. If I do it live, it typically goes to my friends, then I just share it publicly. Yeah. But for some reason on this one, it did not do that. It hates me. So,
Facebook,
guys,
we love you.
Yeah, tune in more with what we got going on, because we got a lot to do with going on.
With the stuff.
And yeah, all that stuff. So, guys, again, go to theselfevidenttruth.com. If you've not checked out our website, go do that. You guys can get yourself some awesome merch like these. We got great shirts and all the fun things. All the fun things. Shirts and
I'll show
beanies.
Some
I'm kidding. We don't have...
I'm showing shirts. Yeah, get yourself some shirts.
I don't think we're not live on.
It's not showing?
Oh, there it is. There
it is. Scared me.
Wait, what?
Is it showing?
There it is. There it is.
Okay, good. We're good.
For all of you on YouTube, I'm sorry. I thought I wasn't seeing the live here and what happens is when we do these, like all the comments that show up on Restream don't show up from mine. And they all don't show up from YouTube either, I've noticed. Right. So it's like we're trying to and get her all in the
system is just fun.
We're getting her all in the queue. You know what I mean? And we're excited. We're here. So a lot has happened. We were just in Texas for 2 weeks. 2 long, grueling weeks. I bought a pickup truck, 1993 F-150.
That's really what we were in Texas for.
Old Bess, man. Truck. She's seen better days, that truck.
But you got it running.
Got it running. One of the tires was blown. Could patch it. No, you can't. It's actually destroyed. But we pulled that on the way home, so it took us a little bit longer than what we should have been. We actually should have been back about Saturday. Yep. We didn't get in till this morning at 1 a.m., which is Monday. So, because you had to go slow in the thing, in the trailer, in the truck, and... Yeah, and the kids, because they got to pee every 5 seconds.
And then there's
How many can relate to that?
And then there's me. You took 3 days, Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Me,
You booked it.
I freaking cannonball ran this thing back. Let me tell you a little story. By the way, shout out to that last group, Cook County. I am so sorry that I had to cancel. Let me tell you a little bit about my day that day. So I was, driving down Wednesday morning. I'm like, all right, I got to head back, go back to Gainesville, do this event. Talking to Massey, we're talking about the hurricane. It's like, oh, this hurricane's going to hit tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
So I had the choice. I either go back and do the event and leave there probably about 9:30 p.m. and try to cut across Florida right where the hurricane hit.
Yeah, he was
right
out
up here. And I said, maybe I'll cancel and I'll drive.
He's sussed out, guys.
And I honestly am so glad that I left early because I was hitting heavy rain and heavy winds.
Mm-hmm.
That
was pretty bad.
It. Yeah, I could definitely feel it. And I was telling my wife, I'm like, this would have been really risky if I had waited 12, 14 hours and tried to drive back, which of course I would have driven through the night. And so exhausted, tired, and trying to drive through a hurricane.
Sure.
So I left early, and I am so glad I did, because as soon as I got home, even we were feeling some repercussions of the storm over on our side. And we'll get to all the hurricane and all that stuff in a little while, but we wanted to talk the tour first. And so, Massey, I'm going to throw this to you. How was it? How was your tour?
Okay. I am so grateful for men of God, women of God who pull behind us and help us do what we do. To all you torchbearers out there that are supporting what we're doing, it's pretty incredible. We appreciate you so much. You have no idea what you mean to us as a ministry. You have no idea what you mean to us as a family, that we get to even do these podcasts and do all that stuff, because there's just so much going on. And Facebook's never really kind to us anyways. They've never been kind, whereas YouTube has been very, very kind. So guys, comment down below where you're from, please, and give us a like and a thumbs up and a share if you can, because there's a lot that happens. So we went and did 4 events. We were invited by several. We were at this group called Taking America Back for God. They're like a organization that goes and obviously does more of the patriotic Christian stuff. And, all the liberals are like the Christian fascists, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. And they're actually doing an event with Eric Metaxas here on October. I don't remember if it was 19th or something like that. Yeah. It's an event for them. Well, I preached there in July, and the pastors that were there invited me to their churches. So I was like, sure, I'll do the church. First one was Pastor Charkey Marquis. It's Marquise, I think. Marquis. Pastor Charkey, you just have a cool name.
It's going to be
Marquis.
Rage typing.
Yeah. But Pastor Charkey and I spent a lot of time this week just getting to know each other, getting to know his ministry, all that stuff. But being at his church was so cool, man, because like those guys weren't just, they're called Cowboy Church.
Yeah.
And legit, bro. It's like there's saddles at the front where you kneel to pray. It's pretty sweet. But just it wasn't just that they were Christians and they were somewhat patriotic. It was the fact that these people loved each other. And that's where I think, these people that decry Christian nationalism, the Christian ethic, all these other things, they always point out the bad things that Christians do, but yet they never see what the good Christians do too. Because we could all point out what the world does bad, and there's a lot of moral people out there that do things and immoral things. And so we were there, and it was great, man. Pastor Charkey just became a solid friend, solid bro right away. But the first one was we did America's Original Pulpit, and I think like 6 people got saved that night.
Oh, cool.
To me, that's like everything. It was like 5 or 6 people. I can't remember. We went back the next night and did another event, Resistance to Tyranny. I think another 3 people got saved that night. Wednesday night, we went to a town called Athens, Texas. We did a church there, and Pastor Eric, I think his name is. Yeah, it's Eric. Bald guy. Dude's like Pastor Todd all the way. Same anointing. They bought 200 acres to build another church, and he's like, if you'd have heard him talk, I'm talking to P. Todd. You know what I mean? Just the way their minds work, it's like, okay, that doesn't work. Closed door, boom, boom, boom. They're just making moves. And I was like, what are you going to do with this building? He's like, we're going to use it for the women's shelter, and we're going to open this for them. I'm like, dang, this guy's like a kingdom thinker.
Wait, 200 acres?
Yeah. Well, here, I think and I don't want to divulge into all their activities, but like they bought some acreage before that was in the city, and it would have cost so much money to put water and sewer and the electrical. Well, in Texas, you can buy outside in county, and you don't have a lot of the red tape. You can just do what you want. So you can put up, pole barns and sheds and have church in there. So it's not as restrictive down there. But in the city, it is.
Moving to Texas.
Yeah. So, but they purchased that, and then they're going to sell that piece of acreage that they bought for the other church. That should pay for this. I mean, he's just really smart. Like he knows what he's doing, and just cool people. We did an event that night. Their church was awesome, and they didn't even promote it. And there was some people there that showed up, and a couple people, I think 3 people got saved there. And then we ended up doing, we were supposed to do another event somewhere, and I don't know if it canceled or something. But then the following Sunday, Pastor Derek invited us to his Cowboy Church. Now, I don't know if they're named Cowboy Church, but they're not like affiliated, a lot of them.
It's just not a denomination.
Right.
It's just
it's a vibe.
Hey, this is a...
It's a vibe, is what it is.
That's a good way to put it.
And dude, like, it's cool.
I love that.
I'm like, dude, Pastor Turkey, to Tuesday night, we went to We went to in the parking lot. They have a rodeo pen and the whole nine, right? So they're team roping on Tuesday night practicing. Boys are out there. They're like, dude, this is awesome. And I was like, wow, horses. You want to get on one? Nope, but my wife can, And then they had the bucking thing, the barrel. So my kids were on it, and they were learning how to buck and how you have to kick and hold your hand and how to position it and all that stuff. And that was really cool. And we were supposed to go watch an actual rodeo Thursday night, but we couldn't do it. Carrie was really tired. So was I. So I was like, we're just going all the time. Yeah. So then Sunday morning we go to Pastor Derek's church, and that church is just as awesome, and it's alive, man. These guys are like for real, and they follow the gifts of the Spirit. I mean, this guy is like full on gifts. He you know what he told me? He goes, at the end we're gonna close when the song dwindles down. You go up there and be led of the Spirit. Do what you want to do. Whew. Now, I didn't know how far to go with that because we didn't have conversation before, and I didn't watch any of their services. And the reason I didn't do that is because if I have a word, I don't want to have a preconceived word or something. I just want to be able to give it from my heart. And so, dude, I watched all of his other services after I was there. This guy's like full on walking in the gifts. And it was really cool. So, and another 5 people got saved there. So it was like 12 salvations, 13 salvations that happened this weekend from all the events. And the events were awesome. We got some people that became torchbearers. We had people we got to minister to. This one specific couple in Pastor Derek's church. I just had a word for one of the guys singing. And I just felt the Lord tell me, you need to go tell him this. So I did. And little did I know what I was speaking into is what they've been praying into his wife as well, and just different things. But it's like, that's kind of what happens. We're doing all these history things, and yet souls are being saved. People are being transformed. People are being ministered to. And when I can do that, that's what I love the most. You know what I mean? So we're growing, and that's what's so neat. And we're already invited back. They want to do like a 3-day, maybe a week-long conference. So they want to do 3 days in one city, 3 days in another, and that, you know what I mean? All these events, because we've got so much content. But here's one of the things that really bothered me. We were in Corsicana. That was kind of where we stayed, Athens, Corsicana area. I didn't realize how cool the city was. We ended up going to the donut shop. Before you judge, Pastor Charkey took me there. He said, you just got to try one of these donuts. Well, I ended up trying an apple turnover. I kind of like those. So I've been really, really following this diet thing. I really have. But God is my witness. I've been really following as best I can, not trying to shy away, trying to do my thing, and all that stuff. So we ended up going there, and we meet the mayor, and he knows the mayor. So the mayor sits down, and they're kind of going through all this stuff, and we can relate to all this, guys, if you know where we're coming from. But we were when we were there, I saw when the mayor was he just looked kind of defeated, but not defeated, but defeated. And he was telling us that he's been battling the city council, all that stuff. Well, 2 people got elected to city council that are of the liberal persuasion, and they ran uncontested. And I was telling my wife, I said, that has not left me. That has not left me. That we have these churches who are active, they're patriotic, they're in this, and 2 city I think the city council members or county council, they ran uncontested and won by. And then you know what they started pushing? The gay stuff. They started we have to recognize Pride Day. So the mayor asked me, if you know the Constitution, he goes, what would you say to that? And I said, where in your charter as mayor or the city does it say you have to recognize ideologies? And he goes, you're right. It's an ideology. I'm not going to recognize an ideology. I don't recognize anyone else's ideology, any specific religion. I said, exactly. You shouldn't do it. That's not a part of your purview, and it prevents discrimination. You don't recognize anybody's ideology, and that's what you stand on. And so he said he's been facing a lot of backlash, but then he then proceeds, we were all there, he then proceeds to say, I'm so grateful you guys were with me. And I guess like the Monday before when we met him, like all these churches went to the county or the city council meeting, and it was like a ton of people went and voiced in favor of the mayor and the propositions and against the whole gay thing. And one of the people said, why is it we stand up only, one of the people who was dissenting, these church people, was, you only show up when it's about gay issues and not about anything else. And that's when Pastor Charkey and the mayor and myself were like, man, she makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? So we want to go back and help them, because they got about 1.5 years again before they run, to elect people who are actually for the town, for the city, for freedom, for liberty. where they're not about ideologies. They're not about pimping out kids. They're not about pimping out schools. They're not about none of that stuff. We just want a free and fair society. That's all we want. You know, and that's the way it should be. A patriotic American society that we say, hey, we have liberties and freedoms that no other nation enjoys. Right. And that's the way it should be. So that's our mission right now. We're working on that. I actually talked about it too at Athens. And that guy's in a lawsuit about the 501c3, that pastor. They're trying to overturn the 501c3 law, dude. He's in a lawsuit right now. And it was like, dude, I'm in good company, man. And I'm like, come on, we got to help them fight. And so, you know, we'll find out more information on that kind of stuff, guys, when we're kind of doing this. But we want to help them be involved and teach his people, that especially that church, it's okay not to be a 501. It's okay not to have, you know, before 1950, was it 59, 58, 57, 53? Was it?
I don't remember.
58 or 53. Their churches were still churches.
They were just churches.
The problem is we've got accustomed to tax-deductible donations and receipts and how much. And it's like, why don't we just give to give? And where the chips fall, they fall. I don't want anything back. I don't want it to count against anything. I just want to give. We've almost kind of made it selfish. Our giving now has become selfish. I'll give this much because I get this much of a write-off. That's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's a lot there that we can do. And you can still get a tax write-off, actually. Anyways, we'll talk about that more later. But that's kind of what happened on our side of things. Again, so many cool people we got to meet. You got to stay with some old friends. Some fun times, bro. And it was good. It was good. I'm glad we were there to do that. And I can't wait to go back.
I think Texas is one of those that I was telling a couple people this. So no offense to Ohio. We still love you. But early on, Self-Evident State really was Ohio. Everything was opening up. We kept going back and things seemed to be growing.
Yep.
And now it seems to be Texas. Like every time we go back, there seems to be more and more opening up in Texas. And by all means, we love Texas. We love you guys because it's fun to see people getting active. And not that other states don't get active. That's not what I mean. But man, when you go into groups that are churches that are active, they're pushing, they're moving forward, they're right in the same lane as you, it feels less like you're trying to break ground and get things to open up. And it feels more like, hey, these people they're in second gear. Let's help them move to third gear.
Yeah.
You know, which is, it's a big difference. As opposed to when you go into a place where you've been invited in and it's more like, hey, we've got to get something going here. You know, so I went to the Fold and that was great, man. We love you guys. And it was just good to hang out with them and spend time with them. Got to spend time with an amazing family there. And then I also did True Texas Project, which they're
our homies, bro.
Like
at this point,
really
they're
are.
just so cool.
Well, and I think I had told you they even they do like a how-to video, and on their how-to video they were talking about how to be an activist, how to get involved in all of that. And Self-Evident was one of the organizations that they promoted or highlighted. You know, it was just cool. It was cool to be like, you guys are our homies, man. We love you guys. And then I also did a couple of Republican groups, which was great. And it's always cool to drop information on a group of people, and you can see in their eyes, it's like they have not heard this before.
Right.
You know, as opposed to, okay, yeah, you've told me the same thing that I already knew. I learned that, 5 years ago, drop something on people, and then they're like, I never knew this. I never knew this thing, So that makes it so much fun to be able to connect to you guys when
it's so stinking
when
does,
people
dude.
come up and they're like, I never thought about it that way, or I never knew this, you know, and not that, oh, we are the purveyors of all elite knowledge.
Well, kind of.
I mean, kind of, but it was a lot of fun. And man, like you said, I know Self-Evident will be back in Texas soon here. And by all means, we're more than happy to break into new groups, new churches.
If you have areas you want us to go to, if you guys know places you want us to be at and all that stuff, please let us know, man. And we would love to be a part of your church or group or, youth or whatever. We'd love doing all that stuff. So, And also, this is a reason we always push this. We push this a lot with the ministry about our monthly support. You guys get us out there when places can't afford us. That's what keeps us going. I mean, who doesn't want their people to be saved, right? And that's why we do. Thanks, Todd. I appreciate that. God bless you, Pastor. Thank you so much, man. This is so neat. I'm seeing these comments. See, it's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I can't see the stinking comments sometimes, and I apologize, guys. And I'm trying to respond to them, so please don't hate that. Scott was on the other page too, so I'm so sorry. But you don't realize how important it is when we have the funds to go and not think about it, because we can go minister freely. We don't have to think about the next paycheck or anything like that. Or I shouldn't even say I don't think paycheck is the thing. It's more the gas and all that stuff. We're shoestring budget. You guys can come and see it. I don't care. I got nothing to hide, dude. We have, the 5-6 employees that we have, and the amount of money we make in the ministry is like baffling. We're still out doing and kicking butt. We need to do more, and we want to do more, and we will do more by the grace of God. So keep us in your prayers. I've really been on this thing about forcing myself in the mind of prayer. And I know that sounds weird, but let me explain it. I use the word force instead of the word discipline. And the reason is because discipline's kind of that word that everybody kind of hates. You got to tell your flesh to shut up and pray. You got to tell your flesh to shut up and read the word. You got to tell your flesh to shut up and not listen to the enemy and say, are you really effective? Why are people speaking against me? Is this even right? You know what I mean? Maybe what that dude said about our ministry is true. You know what I mean? We were talking earlier today, and it's like, you got to tell your flesh and your brain to shut up. If God's called you to this, he will prosper this thing. And so I look at where we're at now and go, I don't care what they say. I know what I'm called to do, and I know it'll prosper. And if it never goes above what it's supposed to, I'm content. The world may judge me as, hey, he didn't do it right. I don't care. I'll stand before the Lord and say, Lord, this is where we were, and we're good with it. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of where we've been the last couple of weeks. Is for me, I got to spend time with my parents, really seeing them. Dad's, just, they're getting older, right? So it's like, just all that stuff. You're like, man, how long do you got with them? So we got to spend some days with them. Got to see my younger brother, my sister, and their kids. Got to go to some good old fashioned Texas football and Texas volleyball. We got to go see some of that. I only had barbecue one day. I let everyone down. I mean, dude, we're in Texas. I didn't even have barbecue except one day.
I love going to Texas because I know every time I go to Texas, I am going to have some amazing barbecue. And of course, the full church, you did not disappoint at the barbecue that you served me for lunch. Pristine. It was amazing. Oh, it was so good. And then I ate it as leftovers.
They only gave me chicken
at the host house. Oh,
they only gave us chicken.
That's on you guys. That's not on me.
You.
But Texas barbecue. I'm sorry, Florida. You just can't cut it. Sorry.
Dude, I also met this youth pastor, Josh Brown. He's on right now.
Oh, cool.
I want to talk about him just for a minute. Not trying to put you on blast, bro, but he just said, I want to meet you, man, just to talk to you and ask questions. And their church is very involved in the kind of understanding government, civil government, and Christians' role and responsibility and duty. And dude, this young kid with 2 kids and a wife and all that stuff he drove an hour just to come and meet, and we sat at this really cool little cafe place and just talked scripture, talked Bible, talked testimony, and I'm just admiring these young men who are and they're men, dude. Mm-hmm. And they don't think much of themselves, and I'm looking at them going, that's exactly the guy God wants. That's exactly the heart God wants. Is that. And I want to shout him out. His name's Joshua Brown. He's from where are you from, dude? I'm sorry.
I'll show his comment.
Yeah, Vintage Church in Harker Heights, and he's just a good dude. He's from Temple, and just good people, man. Down to earth, solid, good kid, understands the gifts, understands fruit of the Spirit, and just wants to preach that to the kids and wants to take a stand and knows like he's a pastor first. You know what I mean? He's doing that, but just an awesome dude. And I just want to say thank you, man, for meeting, and you're just amazing, bro. God bless you, and thanks for tuning in and all that stuff, man. You're great. So, just a good guy.
So overall, Texas was great. I know we're supposed to talk about the hurricane. I feel like that's a hard switch.
Yeah, we could save that. We could save that. I mean, we can just parlay into this, that even when there's stuff that's good, there's always something that tries to take away the the joy of salvation. Mm-hmm. And when you really understand Romans, when he talks about that the whole creation groans, for the coming, it's almost like you see creation testifying of the need of Christ. Like it's like creation is saying, hey, look at the power of God. The creation testifies of his power and his glory. Like we put all this money into housing and fences and security and banks and all this stuff and cell phones and making sure our vehicles are safe and making sure, and those are good things. You're stewarding well. But one storm, one flood, you know what I mean? And it's weird because I know that sounds very unkind, what I'm saying, but it shows me the awe of God first, like the wonder of God, how nature itself can just say, you know what, if this is what happens, you can't do nothing about it. Now, there's two ways you could look at that. Lord, have mercy on those who went through it. You know what I mean? We prayed about the west side of the state of Florida. We did not know, and I think everybody was saying, we've never seen that before.
Everybody was caught off guard by it.
When you saw this hurricane still continue to spin and turn and tear up, and we drove through some of that through Florida, we prayed, and we were like, some people spared, some people not. And I know there's a lot of people who are watching this that are like, but what about all those people that weren't spared and all that stuff? And it's like, look, I don't know how I can say this any better, but I'm going to tell you this. If you wholly trust in the Lord, then you trust the Lord. Mm-hmm. If God ordains for us to be gone, and I'm not asking for that, then it's my time. I have to trust that he's got my family in tow. I've got to trust he's got everything I've put my work into in tow. I've got to trust that I've fulfilled the will of God, or I was apostate and didn't, or I wasn't saved and didn't. He who gives life can take it away. I have to trust that. And he's so good and merciful that, dude, when people say, but there's so much evil in this crap, it's like, dude, all we deserve is wrath for our sin. For the way we spit in God's face, all we deserve is wrath. I'm not saying those people in Tennessee or North Carolina, but I'm seeing now the church step up. When you have no federal government help, you're seeing all these organizations step up, and it's awesome. And a lot of them church groups and just normal people stepping up and stepping out and showing up and showing out. And that's the duty of the church. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's why I'm so excited about promoting the gospel of Jesus Christ. Because when you have a firm foundation in Christ, you know in your heart, I'm now Christ's. He is mine and I'm his. I trust him with my family. I trust him with my finances. I trust him with my decisions. I trust him with my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, light unto my path. He says, commit your ways unto the Lord and your thoughts will be established. You know, when he says that delight yourself in the Lord and even he'll make your desires come to pass. All these things, when I think about that, when I think about David's prayers, I think about the way I trust Christ. And so when we go out and preach the gospel, I'm not out preaching a gospel to suit people's flesh, or to say he's all for you and it's about you. And I think that's why we question God so much when bad things happen, because we don't talk about his sovereignty anymore. My wife posted this thing, this thing from Jackie Perry, and she was talking about if you don't have a right image or a view of God, when we say you're made in the image of God, she'll go, it'll never affect you because you've never saw him as a holy, righteous, and just person, a just God, a just being, like that he has all things in tow. And when you understand the glory of God, you understand when that image word comes up, you're like, man, that hits me. I'm made in the image of God. And the reason why we don't tremble at that is because we've now seen the gospel turn into, we're made in the image of God that looks like me. And it's like, dang, you know, and she's right. Yeah. And so in this respect, Josh just said this. Frank Turek says, if Christianity is true, people don't really die. They just change location. If you can truly look at that and go, yes, it's tragic. Yes, we need to help those people. Yes, we need to help the poor. Yes, we need to help those. But we also say, Lord, all those people that died, Lord, I pray that you use that some way, shape, or form for your glory. That those people that passed, I pray they had a good testimony and that people would remember. And if they didn't, Father, I pray it wakes people up in their consciousness to say, life is a vapor, man. I know that sounds insensitive, but it's the truth. Life can end so quickly, dude. So quickly. None of us knew that would have happened. We could have prepared for it in Florida because we saw it coming and we braced for it. But how many hurricanes have ever happened where as soon as it hit land, it kept going and kept spinning and churning and breaking and flooding? And I've never seen that before. And I'm only 43, so I'm not saying I've seen everything. but just know in your heart that Christ has everything in tow. And when I'm looking at these hurricanes, there's so much to talk about. How many of these cities were wiped out? Tourist cities, man, you know?
Yeah, and this is a bit off topic, but not really, because I think this relates. I was talking to my wife last night, and we were sitting down at the dinner table, and it was all of us, which not always, I think you guys know, for your own families, that doesn't always happen. But it was all of us. We were sitting down, and wife made like meatballs and potatoes or something.
She did.
And dude, amazing meal. But
way to go, Liz.
I was looking at the potatoes, and I was like, I am so thankful for these potatoes. Like, if it was a very simple thing where I think oftentimes we have the food, we scarf it, we're done. And I was just thinking about, I'm so thankful that I've even got this in front of me.
Right.
And looking at my kids and like, thankful they even have their food in front of them. And that is that. And I'm not saying like, I'm just righteous in how I see my relationship with the Lord, but dang, I feel like, man, I want that every single moment of my day.
Same, dude.
I want to be able 100%. To look at everything, every moment I have food in front of me, every moment that a dollar is placed into my bank account, every moment that I can get a glass of water, every moment of rest with my family is a wow, thank you, Lord, 100%, that I have this. Dude. Because we, especially in America, we get so used to this just comfort situation that we've got going. We truly have a luxurious situation going on for us. So then when something bad happens, it's like, I can't believe this happened. How did... When in reality, we cannot predict when the bad thing will happen.
But we can't not believe it'll happen.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we can't not... If we saw a flood in the time of Noah for the sins of the land, again, I'm not trying to go judgment here, but you know, I can't help but think sometimes when Amendment 4 is trying to pass in Florida and it hits right at Tallahassee, it makes you think a little bit like, we can't mess with God. We can't mess with God, dude. We can't keep doing this and him not respond.
And
I'm sorry, dude.
And I think it rains on the just and the unjust alike.
It does.
So we're not saying that it doesn't, tragedy does not befall the Christian. But when you are God's, there are plenty of stories and account. Let me rephrase that word, because people think stories, they think fiction. There are plenty of accounts of where God blessed, protected, provided against all circumstances. And immediately I think of, there's this story of this Christian woman in North Korea, of all places, who she was placed in one of North Korea's camps. And this is that whole, like, be careful what you ask for when you pray for persecution, because guess what? You don't see Christianity breaking out at the seams in North Korea.
Right.
So just be careful when you start like, we need to get persecuted. But this Christian woman was, I believe it was North Korea, was placed in the camp, and she wanted a banana. Because obviously you're not getting a whole lot of food, right? And she was just praying, Lord, I just want a banana. I just want a banana. And at some point, somehow, some way, a bushel of like 40 bananas was placed into her cell with her. That's the Lord right there, right? And so when we shift our perspective of God wants me to be truly comfortable and without tragedy and life should be perfect, I'm not saying he doesn't want you to have abundance. But we have to be ready for the fact that we may go through lean times. We may go through struggles. We may go through tragedies. We may have to. But at the same time, man, he's so good to his children at the same time.
He really is, dude. And when you think about this, James 1, when it talks about count it all joy when you fall into various trials, it's literally telling you life is going to be full of trials. And this gospel of God wants to pull you from every trial and help you through every one. He will help you through every one, but he ain't going to stop them. They come at you, dude. Some things are prevented, sure. If you're not supposed to go, he's going to prevent that from happening because he's God, right? But there are things we go through. I think about my wife when she got diagnosed with cancer. I don't know a person who's more worthy of life You know, when she got it, I was like, what the heck, Lord? She tries to eat healthy and clean. She's good at what she does. She doesn't stress herself out like that. And all of a sudden, boom, colon cancer. And I'm thinking some people will say she was in sin. That's why she got. That's so stupid. It's like we're in a fallen world, and our bodies aren't acclimated to the foods we eat, to the weather we're having. All things happen, dude. You know what I mean? Bodies come and they get older, they decay. Right? If we think about this, evolution's a stupid theory because everything tends towards disorder. Nothing gets better.
Right.
Everything tends toward disorder. We may get smarter in some sense, but I don't know if it's really smart. It's just exploring. We're not getting smarter. We're just exploring more. Because if you think about the people today, our younger generations, we're not smarter than they were in the 1700s.
Yeah, and
no way.
And actually, we've watched standardized testing scores go down decade by decade. And if you look at the intelligence of our ancestors, I would say flat out, they were smarter than us.
100%.
Now, we have come up with some advanced technologies and all of that, but guess what? We built on their shoulders. Anyways, that's a whole...
Right, yeah. And we can argue, is that discovery? Is that being smart? It's just discovery. Right. We're discovering more things, right? Just so, you know, in the whole scheme of things, what we're excited about is salvation's happened. Hey, Brother Walter. Saludos desde Guatemala. He's saying greetings from Guatemala. God bless you guys. So Walter is from the mission of James Project of Latin America down in Guatemala, and we were there in Antigua, Monjas, Guatemala. So I met him in 2016, and he popped on our podcast. It's so neat. So neat. God bless you, bro. Dios te bendiga. So just being there, I just want to end with, not end, but you can parlay. We can parlay. We can pickleball. You guys got to try that sport. It's freaking awesome.
Dude, I was over at a buddy's house yesterday. Pickleball netting in the driveway. It's like, this is really catching on, isn't it?
It's fun. Whose house?
Flicks.
And he's got a pickleball
guaranteed thing? He's going to post now. He's like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, he set up a pickleball thing in his driveway.
Oh, dude. Oh, I had so much fun playing that with Jake and them. I was at a men's retreat. They were asking me to come up and do it. It was just 5 guys, and Jake was there, and he said, let's go play pickleball. And I think they all look at me and go, okay, Tubby. You know what I mean? I get out there, and I know how to push myself. I did pull I pulled a calf, but we're good now.
Pull the calf.
The old wing is back. The old wing's back. So, anyways, to round it off,
Joshua says pickleball is life.
It is. I did not know how cool that was, dude.
I had no clue about this sport
until
recently.
Oh my gosh, it's so fun. So, anywho's.
Flick just posted who?
What did he say?
He said who?
Oh man. So can I just say this? Carrie Joy, Carrie, she's from Canada. Canada. She said, death is a part of life, and I've seen lots of it in my family. So you have to be ready to go. When you understand that better, it changes how you react. Hopefully that makes sense, but I get what you're saying. And so because how I said it sounds so harsh, but it's like when you have the peace of Christ, I know, okay, now are we bothered when people die? Yes. I heard that grief is unfulfilled love to that person. That's grief. That's so neat. Ooh. I think that's probably the coolest explanation. That's what grief really is. I didn't have time to spend with that person. So there's obvious grief, and we want to be there as a church body. That's what the Bible says. When one mourns, we all mourn. When one has joy, we all have joy. Anyways.
I think also as Christians, we get it mixed up that death is it's a guaranteed prospect, but the timeline is not guaranteed. Yeah. And I think sometimes we think, well, if I'm in the Lord, then I'm guaranteed a long and prosperous life. And that's just not true. And it's one of those things where you have to put your reliance and faith in the Lord of, 100%. Okay, Lord, it's your timeline.
Yep.
You've set it all in place. And we're just not necessarily guaranteed 80 years, 90 years, 100 years, and which is a sad fact. And I think people struggle with that.
They do.
People struggle with that because it's like, okay, how am I supposed to have faith in the Lord and rely on the Lord and trust in Him if I'm going to die when I'm 40, you know? And not speaking that over anybody, but like if a person feels that way, yeah, but is your trust, faith, and reliance in Him for eternity
Right.
or just for this phase of who you are, right? Because the next phase is eternity. You're still you.
Right.
And if you have an eternal mindset, then, well, if it's 40, if it's 50, if it's 80, that's up to the Lord, but I'm with him.
That's right.
That's a whole different level
It
of
is.
faith, reliance, and trust.
It is.
You know, and especially because you become kingdom-minded of, okay, whether it's short or it's long, I'm here for the Lord to do his work. And then my rest happens
100%.
when it happens.
Guys, thank you for tuning into the show. Please comment where you're from down below and let us know what you guys think about what happened with the floods as well. So, wiffle tennis, is that what you saw?
Well, yeah, that's funny too. But I was laughing at Joshua's comment. I got to read this. Going from barbecue to death to pickleball back to death is crazy.
Hey, man, but listen, this is how my brain works. The reason why Mike's laughing
is so right.
because that's how my brain works, dude. It's weird because I have all this stuff going on in my head, and I'm actually going to go back to the tour. I'm yeah, and he did all this, and I'm telling you, we don't even need notes.
I got 7 slides.
Half the stinking time, it's like we don't even need notes. Now, when you see later on this week, we're going to do some really cool podcasts. We're going to cover an article that was just done by the New Yorker called "Should the Constitution Basically Should We Burn the Constitution?" Because people don't think it's adequate, all that stuff. So we want to cover that, especially on a biblical side and all that stuff. But what I want to say is, I get so excited to go on tour to meet new people. I really do. I love our church. I love what we do here. I love being home. And it was great to just be home for this morning and last night. But man, dude, there's just nothing like meeting new people, meeting and going to minister to people, bro. Going to pray for people, speak into people, bring life to people. And you guys help us get there, so we appreciate you so much, just from being a part of it. And for all of you who purchased a shirt, I'm telling you, that kind of stuff helps us. For you guys being monthly donors, that helps us. For just donations from your business or whatever, that so helps us. So we just want to thank you, all of you partners. And we're trying to do something now. We're going to hire someone at like 2 to 5 hours a week to make calls to our donors and pray with them and stuff like that, so we can do it together. Because I do it too, but just I don't have a lot of time because I'm in the middle of everything. We want to just do that because we love you guys, and we just thank you for believing in us and trusting us with your support. And sometimes I think, man, that person that gives $20 a month, it's like, man, that could go to their family dinner or something, or their date night or something like that, and they're trusting us with it. That's pretty awesome. So it just makes a guy feel warm and fuzzy inside. You know what I mean? So he's like, that was weird, dog.
I can't always control what happens on the live episodes. It's for you to discern.
I'm just excited.
I love it. I did want to read Carrie Joyce.
Yeah.
Lord already knows when we're checking out. There's a reason in it, even if we don't understand this life. I have a niece who went to heaven 5 days after she was born. We didn't understand then, but my brother was saved as a result. We understand better now, and we'll see her in heaven.
What a perspective, dude.
Right, and that's so tough. It's so tough because the world will look at that type of event and say, how could God allow?
So terrible. God is bad.
How could God do this? Yet we won't give the credit to God when something good happens.
I know, dude.
Well, we won't go that route.
Yeah, take it a step further, right? They say this is why God doesn't exist because of all the evil. Okay, so you determine God doesn't exist. Does evil exist?
Right.
It's like, that means the antithesis of that, there must be good. Mm-hmm. And so God is the author of good. But he is the author. You know what I mean? And so when things happen, he knows. And all things are for his purpose, man. You think about all the Christians that were slaughtered. We could say, man, that's terrible. But look at the good that came out of that too. All the Bible's written, the testimonies written, the people scores that were saved for watching someone die because of the gospel. You know what I mean?
Let's nail that down to a one-on-one. And this is what I mean by that. The fact.
So we went from death to barbecue to death to now to apologetics.
It's martyrdom, right? The fact somebody died for their faith encourages you to stand for yours.
Yeah.
And that means somebody had to give up their life in martyrdom so that you could be encouraged lest that time happens to you.
Right.
And that's why it's important that this type of stuff God allows it to happen. And we look at God and we say, why would a good God let his children die at the hands of evil people? I'm with you that I don't like it. But it makes sense that we need those examples
100.
To encourage us.
Yep.
And all the more the strong men and women of faith who stood in that moment of adversity and died with courage and faith so that you could walk out
100%
with faith and courage.
100%.
Yeah.
No. With that, if you read Hebrews 11, the Bible actually says those who were sawn in two, who were slain, mocked and ridiculed, beaten, right? And then the Bible says, it was like verse, I want to say 32 maybe, when it says, whom the world was not worthy of these men and women. They just weren't, the world wasn't worthy of the men and women that the gospel produced, that Jesus Christ, through the Spirit of God, produced. Mm-hmm. The world wasn't worthy of these men. And I really wonder, guys, then I'll leave you with this. I know we went, but I'll leave you with this. Could the world say that about you? Like, could people say that, man, the world wasn't worthy of that guy? That guy was something special. There's something about him. Stuck to his convictions, full of integrity, blah, blah, blah. That woman, man, she walked in faith, prayer, love people. Man, when she screwed up, she was so honest about it. And she asked for forgiveness. And could the world say that about us? Because at least one thing I know, when I look at martyrs, yeah, they might be hated then, but we look at them now going, wow, what a hero. Back then they were hated. But we could look at them and say, man, but they stood for the faith of Christ. And Hebrews 11 is right. You know what I mean? That's the hall of fame right there of faith and the elders. And we're going to see that more and more. And guys, we have to be ready for that. When they're coming after our free speech and stuff, I mean, are we ready for that? You know, I don't know. I'm going to have to do it, right? I'm going to have to. He's going to give me wisdom in the counsels, but like this is where we're going with this. Why do we do what we do? To round all this up, right? Because of this, to get people ready to stand against ungodly tyranny, to stand against godlessness, to stand against what Romans 13 promotes when he says that they are ministers of God to you for good. Well, when they're not doing good, what do we have to do about that? I'm not going to submit to them. Why am I paying tax and tribute to someone who's giving it to babies being killed? You got to start thinking like that. The antithesis is honor to whom honor, tribute to whom tribute, custom to whom custom, tax to whom tax, right? Well, not if they're going to kill babies. Not if they're going to indoctrinate our children in schools. I don't see the Lord's wisdom in that. Dude, we have to cover this later because I'm getting hot right now. And we're going to do it this Saturday, actually, at Oceans Unite Church in Vero Beach, Florida. Pastor Alex Pappas, he just had a birthday. God bless you, sir. Thank you for your birthday, because without you, would Oceans Unite exist? Maybe. But God used you, right? So we're excited to see you. We're going to be there Saturday from 9 to noon, 9 to 1, something like that. It's going to be fun. It's Truth to Power Conference. We usually do them. They're pretty long, but he just wanted us to do something short to get people involved in how to keep the church active and whatnot. So it's going to be fun there. So if you guys want to come there, you guys can. It's called Oceans Unite Christian Center in Vero Beach. You guys can be a part of that. So we love you guys. And then John, of course, hit torchbearers up. So anyways, you can end us. I already talked a lot. I talked too much and talked about everything.
Well, I'm going to merely say, look into becoming a torchbearer. By all means, go to theselfevidenttruth.com. Click that donate button. You can become a torchbearer, which is our monthly sponsored program. By all means, please pray about and seek the Lord on whether this might be something for you to give towards.
Yeah.
So other than that, hey, we'll see you guys. We love you. Y'all have a great day.
We'll be focused next time.
Yeah, supposedly. Probably not. All right, love y'all. Have a great day.